Carnaval de Lunas, okay? Moon Festival, okay? It is aged 60 days. It's a Queso Fresco aged 60 days. It's hard, it has an acidic tone that is typical of Latin America, or what you would call in India, paneer. This cheese can be grated, can be eaten with pretty much anything. It's usually a complement to an arepa or any kind of tortilla or beans or this or that, but you feel the freshness of the origin of the evolution of milk that we're about to go through, okay? Carnaval de Lunas. The next cheese, okay, is gonna be Classico. And Classico, I see it here, I mean, just look at the label.
Yeah.
Classico, okay, is this cheese right here, okay? It is the first evolution of this whole thing, okay? And it is basically aged 90 days. It's the cheese that we sell the most. It's my father's recipe from Venezuela. And the idea of this is basically to have, for people to experience what a Queso Fresco, when it's raw and 100% grass-fed, when it begins to transform through suspension. This is not really aging per se, it's called maturing through suspension. Why suspension? Because this cheese is in the fridge, vacuum packed, waiting 90 days to be able to take it, to be taken out, okay? That's Classico. So out of Classico, something before Classico is, because all the cheeses that we're gonna sample here in the evolution are made with cultures, which is the European way of wrangling milk so that you can create something that is very unique and make it always, persistently, always there the same way. That's what cultures do. That's what makes a Parmesan, a Gruyere, or a cheddar, okay? And so all the cheeses that I make here are made with cultures, except this cheese. This cheese is called Guayanese, okay? And it has the label of Classico, but it has basically no cultures. This cheese speaks for the true terroir of the milk we use. It has the softness of a cheese, of a brie, okay? The cheese, like the brie, the inside of a brie, very, very soft, very, very creamy, but it's been aged 8 months. In Latin America, we eat it fresh. This is 8 months. And so you can taste the bitter tones of the grasses. It's if you're chewing grass on the dark mud of Schulenburg, Texas. That's what this is. And it has incredible tones. Originally, this is a technique from the region of Guyana, which is the east of Venezuela, bordering with British Guyana. And people grab a cow, milk it, throw the first stomach of a cow in there and kernel it, and then make cheese without anything, just milk being milk. That was an inspiration out of a book called Reinventing the Wheel, where they recommend no cultures.
Which you can see on the shelf right behind.
Exactly. So after that, there are many more evolutions, okay, of milk. But in the process of all these evolutions, last year, there were 2.5 feet of snow here, and I was afraid if my cooler gets lost, I thought I better start aging cheeses without refrigeration, okay? And that's around the corner. This way right here. These are cheeses aged without refrigeration, okay? Aged in olive oil and salt. Basically, they get suspended, they never really go bad. Some of them are aged a little longer, grow a little bit of a moldy rind. That's all surface-wise. It gives it more character, and it gives a subtle funk, okay? And it's salt and olive oil. So that is what we call Araguanai, okay? Which is the Venezuelan national tree. It's very yellow, okay? And this cheese is dry in tone, subtly salty, okay? And you can taste the deep milkiness because you're not distracted by the levels of whey in it, and some fruity tones from the olive oil. This cheese, by the way, you put it on the pan. This cheese, you put it on the pan, it will not melt. It will sear beautifully. And you can eat it with salsa, or you can eat it with honey and lime zest. It's like eating a cheesecake. It's unbelievable.
Which one is that?
Araguanai.
Okay. I gotta try that with this.
Yeah, Araguanai has the exact same label as Classico. I have it here. Can't find the label. Araguanai. Okay. So, and this cheese is So from there, okay, we jumped into what we call azulejo, which is bluish. And azulejo is a cheese cave aged, okay? And this is cave aged 2.5 years. This cheese goes from being a white farmer's cheese to slowly, through fermentation and cave aging, growing this beautiful mushroom rind, which have mushroom tones, almost like you're picking mushrooms off the forest, okay? And the body of it has a creaminess, subtle blue that is, you eat little bits of it and it just invades your palate because it basically takes on something that has come from within the cheese. All blue cheese in the market is pierced with the culture. This is exploded from within. Basically, the residues, reminiscence of whey from the cheese making, and when I choked the rind by creating moisture, it exploded into blue. Within this cheese, just like a steak, when you cook it, by the time it gets to the plate, if it takes 30 minutes or 50 minutes, it's well done. You made it weird. Same thing, this cheese has kept on aging, suspended, because I took it out of the cave, and it produced something called guayabo. Guayabo is just part of the cheese, okay? And I have cheeses that are all of that, but this is intense blue. You eat crumbs of this, tiny crumbs that are about that size or even smaller, and it explodes in your palate as intense, deep blue. If any of it gets overwhelming in any of these cheeses, you can always take a piece of Classico, put it in your tongue, and it resets the palate because it's the mother of all these cheeses. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Joaquin.
You're welcome.